Ciao a tutti, good evening from Chef Emma. We are here tonight to make ragu alla bolognese, so the classic bolognese sauce. Obviously, as the name comes, this is a recipe from the area of Emilia-Romagna, Bologna, but I truly believe that it is the most Italian dish ever. Meaning that if I would have to choose an authentic Italian dish, meaning from all through Italy, north, south, this would be the one. As we always say, a lot of the recipes that I show you are usually from the Northeast where I'm from, or sometimes I do other recipes, but I say this is from, the South, or this is more from Rome, like when we did the carbonara. I was talking about that being from Abruzzo, but if I really need to choose one recipe that represents all Italy, I would say that it would be the ragu alla bolognese. Ragu alla bolognese, couple things. The one thing that I like to say, that the star here is your protein, not the tomatoes, if that makes any sense. I see a lot of bolognese that are very red, very tomatoey. Yes, there is tomato added to it, but really the star is the protein. For the protein here, you can find it just with beef, but the traditional way would be ground beef and ground pork. Beef is going to be your leaner meat. Pork is going to be obviously there's going to be more fat, but this is where your actual flavor is going to come from. I always say when you work with protein, your flavor comes from fat. Some people like to put a third protein in there, like veal. I do that with my meatballs, but in my point of view, the veal is such a leaner and less, it has less flavor compared to, I don't want to say the veal doesn't have flavor, but compared to those two, it's going to loosen. You won't really be able to taste the veal. So what's going to happen there, I keep it in my meatballs for lightness, for definitely will give me lightness, but you can't really savor it. So I would say, why not just keep the two meats, okay? So right here, I already started my pot with some olive oil. It's heating up for me to start with, and I'm gonna say this one more time. Yes, we always start with that, but our sofrito. Sofrito here is gonna be the onions, celery, and carrots. 1 part onion for half carrots and half celery. So we're gonna have that go, as I always say, until your onions are translucent. We are not looking for caramelization here at all. We're gonna try to stay nice and translucent, keeping all the colors as they are. For my herbs here, I mainly have sage, which I kept in leaves because you can actually take it out if you don't want, to have the product. You can take it off at the end. So I kept it in leaves. I have some chopped rosemary in there and a little bit of thyme. Traditionally, garlic is not necessary for it here. And because I'm going to use some of this bolognese for lasagna, I'm going to keep it without garlic in order to satisfy its all palates tomorrow of who's ordering at Palladio. So as my sofrito is going, okay, so as I said, we can use bolognese for a couple of things. We can use it obviously with your pasta of preference. I really like it with pappardelle, but it's pretty, as a sauce, it's pretty diverse of what kind of pasta you can use with it. Tomorrow we're making 2 offers, which is either the lasagna, which where I come from will be called pasticcio, or the pappardelle. The pappardelle with the ragu, or the lasagna bolognese with also the ragu. Now the difference between the two of them, and we're only starting the sauce here, you're not going to be seeing the entire process obviously. The difference between the two of them is one, it's going to have a little bit more tomato, just a little bit, it's going to be more loose, and that's going to be for your pasta in order to coat all your noodles. The lasagna, instead, it's going to be a little bit more thick. So what's going to happen here, I'm going to start this and then I'm going to divide them in two different pots in order to continue each one of them as I want the final product to be. I'm going to start with my pork meat here. The reason I'm starting with my pork meat because depending on how much fat they're actually going to release, I will be able to maybe drain some of that fat, okay? But I'm going to decide that once I see how much fat it actually releases. And I'm also going to be adding my beef. So it also depends on how much beef you're going to be adding to it and how lean your beef is to see if it actually is going to need a little bit of that extra fat that's coming from your pork. What's very important here for you to do is to actually see how I'm breaking down the meat. You really want to do that because in either or, if it's for the lasagna or just for your simple sauce, you don't want big chunks of meat, okay? So in order to avoid that, you just have to really keep moving it around. You gotta be firm. You want to be firm when you're doing this, okay? And you want to really go in there. See how I'm doing it? Break it down and then move it. When you break it down, it allows to coat the meat, and so when you move it and then releases it. Okay. So I can see here that I don't see too much fat. There's still some there's gonna come out as we render, but I don't need to drain at the moment. I'm gonna add my beef right away to that. I want them to kind of cook almost at the same time, okay? And once again, depending especially on how the grounding is coursed, some of it, if it's fine grounded, it's gonna stick a little bit more. So you really need to keep with that untangling. Otherwise, again, you're just gonna get big chunks, and that's not what you're looking for. Especially when you're doing it for your pasta, because otherwise, you're trying to eat your pasta and you have a big chunk of meat. That's almost like a meatball. So that's not how a meat sauce or Bolognese ragu should look like, okay? So
Catherine, he joined late. What are you cooking, Chef Emma?
We're doing ragu alla Bolognese. So this would be the traditional, original meat sauce, Italian meat sauce. Hi, Kathy, we missed you. Okay, so now you can see that it's starting to release a little bit of fat, but it's still not enough that I want to drain here, okay? It's also cooking down my mirepoix, my vegetables, my sofrito, so I'm okay with that. For the seasoning here, I'm just gonna add some salt and pepper. Not at the moment though. I'm first gonna add my tomato part to then take care of that, okay? Remember, your pork also is gonna release with the fat a little bit of saltiness in there, so don't go too heavy. On the lasagna, I like to go a little bit more heavy on the salt, because if you know my lasagna, you know it's going to be with bechamel. So bechamel has a little bit of sweetness on its own. So I would put a little bit more salt, but remember, I am dividing this in order to use the sauce into two different ways, okay, for your special tomorrow. So tomorrow's special, it's going to be presented as a pairing with Marcello Palazzi. So Marcello Palazzi will give you a description of our wine, which is going to be a Primitivo Quattro Magno. And the bottle, we are actually selling at $19 for the bottle. so very special price for you tomorrow. And what I'm doing here, I'm offering either or, 2 lasagna or 2 pappardelle ragu with the bottle for 36. Otherwise, the bottle alone will be for 19. And then you're going to have the video of Marcello Palazzi describing. Okay, so if you come here, Ed, you can see now that my meat is nice and loose and it's browned all around, okay? So we don't have any more completely raw parts of it. Just making sure to break down a little bit more of those extra pieces. And now, there's not really much to the glaze here, but I will start with the red wine. If in your sauce, depending on the pot that you use, there's a little bit of fond, that would be the glaze in it right now. So the red wine is gonna be my base here to start my sauce. Being so earthy and, you know, we're gonna go in a red color here, I'm not afraid to use a red wine, okay? Can you use white? Yes, you can. But I think it gives a little bit more of a deep and earthy feel by giving the red wine. That's my favorite in the classico ragu alla bolognese, okay? Then to that, I'm gonna add my herbs. So I can already smell that nice aroma from the herbs in there. At this point, I'm going to do a little bit of pepper. So you're basically doing all your aromatic right now. People sometimes say, where's the accent? There it is. Just came out. Aromi. That would be how I would say it. Aromi.
Emma is making a bolognese.
Bolognese, ragu alla bolognese. Okay, so my heat is a little high right now because I wanted to do that to brown my meat. So I'm taking it down to medium. I have 2 tomato products over here. I'm going to have a little bit of paste. Remember I said the ragu alla bolognese, I can use it for a couple of things, which I'm doing for tomorrow is using it for lasagna, and I'm using it for ragu for the pappardelle or any other pasta that you would like. So right now I'm adding the paste because when I'm going to be using it for the lasagna, I want to make sure that there's not too much tomato product in there, but especially not too much liquid, okay? I want it to be a little bit more in the dry side, and that's because it's going to go into the lasagna, so nobody likes that loosened liquid feel to a lasagna, okay? So that's just my paste, and then I'm going to add my crushed Roma tomatoes. I have a little extra here because for the one that I'm going to be then taking out to do the sauce for the pasta, I'm going to allow it to have a little bit more juice. But for the one that I'm using for the lasagna, I want it to be a little bit more dry. So right now, all those vegetables, the tomato itself and the meat are going to continue to release more juices. So I know that at the moment I don't want to add any more tomato or liquid to my ragu. Then after our little chat here from a distance, I'm gonna be then dividing this and then adding a little bit more of the tomato product for the sauce that's gonna go into your pappardelle, okay? So that was a little preview of what's happening for tomorrow. Remember that we are offering this with the Botromagno Primitivo, beautiful red wine that pairs perfectly well with both of those dishes. I will post pictures as soon as my ragu is ready, and I will post pictures tomorrow of the lasagna and the pappardelle. Also, finally, that now that my internet is working much better, we will be able to do some YouTube videos, so whoever was not able to see us live can go back and start following us on the YouTube. Make sure if you do follow us on YouTube to click on...
Make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can always see it.
Like and subscribe. As you know, I'm always in the kitchen, so internet and everything technological doesn't really go with me, so help me out here. But apparently you're supposed to like it and subscribe.
And then also...
a YouTube star? It's okay. I'm only going to be your chef, so just come and get your food from me. I love you.